Out to Ghana, where there have been renewed protests seeking the deportation of Nigerians from that country. Large numbers of demonstrators took to the streets holding placards, various inscriptions alleging that Nigerians were behind armed robbery and violent attacks, mass prostitution, kidnappings, and ritual killings. In 1983, Nigeria's former president Shehu Shagari cited similar issues of rising crime and economic pressure as justification for the mass expulsion of more than 2 million undocumented Ghanaian immigrants. However, the deportation did not actually start with Nigeria. Ghana was the first to launch the onslaught, ordering 3 million migrants, mostly Nigerians, to leave Ghana in 1969. Well, Dele Momoodu is a former PDP presidential aspirant and publisher of Ovation magazine who has lived in Ghana for nearly 30 years. He returned to Nigeria just yesterday from Ghana, and he joins me now on the line from Lagos. Basharu, great to see you as always. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I mean, how hot are things for Nigerians at the moment in Ghana? Is there a sense of growing hostility towards Nigerians there?
For now, I would say it's a bit exaggerated. You won't believe it. I've been in Ghana since Sunday morning, and I was not even aware that any such thing was happening in town. Until people started forwarding me the video that went viral. Yeah, these things happen every now and then, not just in Ghana, all over the world, especially in some parts of Africa, like South Africa, where there is this xenophobia about, Nigerians are dominating our economy. Nigerians are taking over our wives and our women. Nigerians are doing this and that. So that's to be expected. Nigeria is like the America of Africa. We're big. We're very flamboyant. Without sounding modest, Nigerians are among the richest people in the world. Forget about the poverty that we have around us. So it will happen every now and then. But I don't think it's as bad as it's been portrayed on social media. I've had the opportunity of speaking to the Nigerian side and the Ghanaian side, and this particular instance has to do with a Nigerian gentleman who said he wanted to establish his own kingdom on Ghanaian soil, and they said, no, Umba, we're not going to agree, you can't do it. He said he wants to celebrate the New Yam Festival, and they said, no, there is tension. We don't want you to do it. And they said, according to the Ghanaian side, is insisting we do it. But what I learned as a young man is that when you are in Rome, you have to behave like Romans. I have lived in Ghana now for about 3 decades, and I have lived my life as quietly as possible, and I've not had any major issue. There have been skirmishes between Nigerian traders and Ghanaian traders. Nigerians, we will go to the depths of the Atlantic Ocean to look for good business, especially my brothers from the Southeast. I always say that they are amongst the most audacious human beings on earth. They work so hard, and so it's very easy for them to get into trouble, and people will say, oh, they are too aggressive, they are taking away our jobs. But it's good to compete, and I'm hoping that the thing will subside. Before I left Ghana yesterday, I was told that one of our foreign ministers, Mrs. Bianca Ojukwu, will be coming into Ghana, I think today. So by now, I believe she will be there, and she will be meeting with the Ghanaian authorities. Fortunately, we have leaders in Ghana who know Nigeria very well. The current president, John Dramani Mahama, lived partly in exile in Nigeria when his father fled Ghana after the coup that toppled the Osaje for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He has a half-sister, Madam Sherifat from Ofa in Kwara State. So he knows Nigeria very well. He has a wealth of friends. They will settle. They will definitely settle.
Right.
But we also need to teach our guys to calm down a bit, because when you are in someone else's country, you have to learn how to respect their culture.
Right. Well, I mean, you have a point there, and thank you for laying it out the way that you did. I mean, you've allayed some of our fears there, but I have to ask you, though, Basharu, are Nigerians actually doing the things they're accused of doing? I mean, armed robbery, kidnappings, mass prostitution, ritual killings, etc.?
Look, Brother Charles, everywhere in the world, people do things. Everything that they accuse Nigerians of doing, of course, they have collaborators who are locals. So it's not as widespread, but it's always been very fashionable everywhere in the world, anywhere in the world, that wherever a crime is committed, a Nigerian name must surface somewhere. It is not always true. Yes, there are, pockets of cases, but nothing that substantial. Ghana is a very peaceful country, and it is very difficult for you to commit large-scale crime without being caught. The security is very tight. Ghanaian families are close-knit, and so, but of course, that's one of the reasons they don't want.
Oh dear. It looks like we lost the
gentleman who wants to build his kingdom, to build it, that it.
Yeah, I'm afraid, Basharu, your line has gone wonky. This is the problem sometimes with some of these Zoom lines, but it's gone wonky and we seem to have lost you there. I was going to ask you about the fact that this is some kind of diplomatic back and forth that's been taking place over many decades now, because as we mentioned at the outset, in 1983, Nigeria's former president, Shehu Shagari, cited similar issues of rising crime and economic pressure as justification for the mass expulsion of more than 2 million undocumented Ghanaians, immigrants. And we're looking at those pictures now, which of course is from 1983, showing the kind of, massive upheaval it must have been for the Ghanaians who were in Nigeria at the time, who were forced to leave. But of course, that's not the first time that it had happened, because from what I understand, in 1969, Ghana also launched the first onslaught, ordering 3 million migrants, mostly Nigerians, to leave Ghana under a new law that was formulated by the Prime Minister. Okay, I'm told you're back, Basharu. I apologize for that, but I mean, we, these connections go wonky sometimes. I was just mentioning the fact that this seems to be a kind of diplomatic back and forth, because it's not the first time these kinds of mass expulsions have been called for. I mean, in 1983, Shehu Shagari, the Nigerian president, expelled nearly 2 million Ghanaians, and accusing them of all kinds of crimes, and that was when the Ghana Must Go bag, which has become the checkered bags that have become very popular, came into existence. I mean, do you see that simmering resentment still from the Ghanaians?
Oh no, we've moved past that stage. The Nigerian presence within the Ghanaian economy is huge, such that if you were to expel all Nigerians from Ghana today, there will be major crisis, monumental crisis. Now you have UBA, you have Zenith Bank, you have First Atlantic Bank, you have, all of them, all these different banks are there, employing thousands and thousands of Nigerians. First Bank of Nigeria, they're all there in Ghana.
The line is letting us down dramatically, but I think we're going to have to leave it there, which is a shame, because Basharu Dele Momoodu made out time to be with us, but we've been let down by the gremlins of technology. I was going to ask him what would he recommend is the best way going forward now. But as I said, alas, Bashiru Dele Momoodu is a former PDP presidential aspirant and publisher of Ovation magazine who has lived in Ghana for nearly 30 years.